Look, Near Protocol is an absolute steal, especially for 2025 and even beyond, because of some very, very important updates coming out. And I think anyone that's looking at purchasing Near Protocol now or in the near future is going to make some very serious returns, okay? So I want to explain why in this video, but first I'm going to give you a little quick rundown on the technicals just so you know what the hell you're investing in, of course. So Near Protocol, what is it? Well, it's a proof-of-stake blockchain, okay? So just like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and most other cryptocurrencies out there, it forms a blockchain. Now, of course, it is proof-of-stake, okay, which is important. So the security is based on stake, not on work, okay, like in Bitcoin. And it's really, really awesome because it implements a type of scalability approach called Nightshade, which is a type of sharding, okay? So the word sharding is thrown around quite a bit in cryptocurrency. I suggest you do some independent research because this isn't the video for that. I have a great example on my Multiverse X video, which you can watch up the top left-hand or right-hand corner of your screen, sorry. Nevertheless, Near shards state and transaction, not network, okay? Which means that all the nodes are grouped into one sort of network, which is good for security, and it allows for transactions and other types of data to be transferred or processed separately, okay? Which is awesome because, as I said, it scales a lot better. Now, in saying that, the type of security approach Near implements is called Doom Slug, which is technically what's called a finality gadget. Pretty much, long story short, guys, it allows for two very important things. Less forking, which means you know that when you put a transaction to the network, it's pretty much what's called transaction final, which just means you can pretty much guarantee it's going to be instantly final. And then consensus finality, which means true finality or truly immutable, is 2 seconds, whether it's intra-shard or cross-shard, which is a whole new story I'm not going to go into again, okay? The other thing is that it allows for about 50% secure on the block previous to the current block being created, and Byzantine fault tolerant secure, which is about 2/3 secure, 1/3 the network needs to try to, of course, corrupt that block for the previous block. It gets kind of technical, and I don't really want to explain too much of it because in my video I'm producing in a few days, I go into it then, okay? So if you want the technical breakdown, watch that video, of course. So all you need to know really is that it's super fast finality, 2 seconds, okay? It's scalable. When Nightshade is fully implemented, TPS pretty much indefinite, okay? And it's super, super low transaction fees. And the transaction fees are actually burnt, okay? So 70% of every transaction, the fees are burnt, and 30% are actually given to the smart contract itself if the smart contract was ever needed for whatever process, okay? So amazing stats here. Now, one thing that will be coming in terms of the sharding approach is something called dynamic resharding, which means the actual accounts themselves and the smart contracts in the different shards are reshuffled depending on congestion. So pretty much the network is automatically trying to figure out like the best process and how to kind of reorganize itself to perform the best. And that also comes in terms of the shards themselves. So right now, Near Protocol has 4 different shards, and when dynamic resharding is implemented in phase 4, which probably would be around late 2023, it will actually allow the protocol to increase or decrease the number of shards depending on how many nodes are in the network or, of course, demand. So what about the ecosystem, you might be asking? Well, the ecosystem is thriving, guys. 750 projects are currently using Near Protocol. And let me remind you, we're only in its infancy stage. The actual protocol itself, the reason why it's going to make Near so amazingly fast and really, really good, Nightshade isn't even implemented yet. So hell, I mean, 750 projects is one of the leaders in the entire space, behind the likes of like Solana, of course, Ethereum. And also, if you look at Near Protocol, the amount of developers actually building on the network, it's like number 6 on those charts, okay? So it's like the top 6 in terms of active developers, which is just insane, okay? And if you look at the transactions per day, it's about 350,000, guys. That is insane. That's crazy. And it just goes to show Near Protocol's got it going on right now, okay? So if you can imagine the amazing amount of development on the actual protocol itself right now, imagine in a year and a half's time, right when that sort of bull market's supposed to be kicking off and Nightshade is fully implemented, guys. I mean, this is why I'm telling you about it now. Because if you get in now and that's implemented, developers are going to soak it up. Why do you think developers build on an ecosystem? They build because it's promising and the tech is proven, okay? And they trust the team. So it's pretty well simple. You add it all up, you got Near Protocol right now. Okay, so again, when it's there, people are going to want to use it. And not to mention, it's also compatible with EVM chains, right? So there's a few different interoperability solutions Near Protocol uses. For one, it's connected to Ethereum through what's called the Rainbow Bridge, which is a bridge built by the Near Protocol team, which pretty much allows, instant transactions. Well, I shouldn't say instant transactions, nevertheless, from Near to Ethereum, Ethereum to Near. The reason it's not instant is because obviously Ethereum is a bit on the slower side of things, okay? So it's pretty cool because it also doesn't just allow for tokens to be transferred. You can do much more like messages and things like that. So you can pretty much have your, Near or ETH balance on Near Protocol and able to enact, governance proposals, for example, on Ethereum while never moving your tokens. It's pretty awesome, okay? Not to mention, they also use a few other sort of really, really cool bridges. They use like a bridge called multi-chain, and also a bridge called Icon, which are just cross-chain bridges. They connect with many, many different networks, so that it allows for high levels of interoperability for Near Protocol, which is awesome as well. As well as, it's pretty cool because Near has this decentralized application built on one of the shards. It's actually called Aurora, and you might have heard of it. It's actually on Brave browser. You can see it advertised all the time. So Aurora is awesome because what it has is an EVM-compatible environment on Near. So anyone that has a EVM dApp, so an EVM is an Ethereum virtual machine, right? So anyone that's built a smart contract on Ethereum or even Algorand, Hedera Hashgraph, these EVM compatible smart contract networks, they can just redeploy it right on Aurora, which will be instantly compatible with Near Protocol, and there from then on, they can interoperate with other protocols that have interoperated with Near, right? So it's just like the web just kind of goes on. It's pretty awesome. So as you can see, Near Protocol has it all going on. They're interoperating, and again, early. Okay, so one thing I wanted to mention as well was the transparency of Near Protocol. So they have, if not the best, one of the best, vesting and token distribution schedules I've ever seen. It is so transparent. They go into details. They even tell you what the prerequisites were for the investors. Okay, so they got to pick their investors, and they just go overboard with how much detail they give you there. And of course, someone like myself looking at projects all day, every day, it's just so refreshing being able to easily identify and read certain sections and not have to go look either third-party sources or look, into the deep, dark parts of the white paper for any sort of information, okay? So big props to you there, Nia, so I have to just say that as well. Now, in regards to those investors as well, as I said, there were some pretty serious prerequisites that I actually really admire. So the Near Protocol team obviously had quite a lot of interest in the project at the very early stages. So what they pretty much told the early investors was, hey, you guys got to be in it for the long run. You guys pretty much all can't have more than 1% of the total distribution each, which is really, really good. And also there's decently long lockups, as well as Near Protocol actually tried to diversify into smaller venture capitalist funds so that they were incentivized when they received the tokens to boot up nodes to obviously make more money for themselves, okay? So Near has really, really thought of everyone and everything, which is why it's kind of a good indication on my end to say, okay, this is a good quality project. If the team is wishy-washy or there's some red flags or at any point in the process of research, you're at all a bit concerned about a few things, it's dangerous. Now, the reason I'm so bullish on Near right now is, again, because there's a significant update that will be coming, and right now, the project is severely, disgustingly undervalued for where it's going to be. Look at the ecosystem, tell me how it's not thriving, okay, and how it's not going to then, 10, 20x fold, in terms of ecosystem growth when Nightshade is fully implemented, okay? It's going to be one of the fastest networks out there, okay? And it's only just the beginning, okay? So let's talk about the token price right now. So the token price, to find that in 2025, there are so many variables, but it's very, very simple, guys. It's supply and demand, okay? I'm not going to get into the whole spiel about supply and demand. It's stuff that we pretty much learned in high school, okay? However, a lot of people get this wrong. A lot of people just don't simply understand the basics here. So supply, right? How can we find the future supply? Look at the vesting schedule. Near's done a great job of making that very, very transparent. So we know exactly how many tokens are going to be there in late 2024, early 2025. It's 1.2 billion tokens, okay? So that is, the max supply is 1 billion. But of course, it's got an inflation of about 5% year on year. Okay, so when that inflation rate comes on, obviously it's going to go well above the so-called max supply or the initial distribution. So One thing I can't account for in the 1.2 billion tokens is obviously burnt tokens, which will obviously be happening. So we're going to estimate here worst case. So now that we've found the 1.2 billion tokens in late 2024, early 2025, we need to find demand. And demand's easy. You just find the market cap. You estimate the market cap, and to estimate the market cap, there are so many variables that go into it, guys. I'm not going to get started. So what I tell, my Patreon members and, followers of the channel is just throw a 2x on the top of the previous all-time high market cap for large cap projects that are promising. They have to be promising, and it has to be the previous all-time high, okay? For small mid-cap projects, I just say throw a 4x on top. So what you do is throw a 2x. Now, because NIA has the variables are slightly like on steroids, right? They're a lot more interesting than most other projects just doing their thing. I think NIA is probably going to hit a 4x minimum, but I'm going to be conservative because you guys know me. You've got to be conservative, 3x. So I'm going to say from the previous all-time high of about 12.5 billion dollars, I'm going to throw a 3x on top, okay? And that comes to about $37.29 billion in 2025. That's quite a high number, but again, I think that demand will probably far exceed that, in my opinion, okay? So going off my information I've got down the side here, that's pretty much going to bring a token price of about $31 to the table. So right now, it's about $2.50 per token, which means that's more than a 10x, which is phenomenal, by the way, but obviously all the crypto degens are going to say, 10x, that's ridiculously low. I want you to keep in mind, if the macro drops any lower than what we're currently seeing, and if Bitcoin goes to, drops again about 10% or more, you guys should look at NIA Protocol as a serious contender. I guarantee you that. Obviously, it's not financial advice. You guys know the drill. However, I sure as hell am picking up a hell of a lot of NIA tokens whenever I possibly can. So with that said, that's my conservative price prediction. Again, expected to go more than that. Regardless, guys, watch my video on NIA Protocol for the full breakdown to get a bit more into technical details and lay it all on the table for you. Now, I want to just quickly say, please go and support me on my Patreon. I've just launched it, and to continue to do this full time, to continue giving you these quick videos, I need to be able to obviously be supported. Again, I really, really appreciate anything you can donate. Of course, I'm going to bring you value in return. So, of course, you're never wasting your money. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you all. Talk to you soon.